Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. A convicted violent felon was arrested on suspicion of attempting to break into his ex-girlfriend's home and fleeing from deputies. On Wednesday at around 6:30 p.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to a home in the 55,900 block of 29 Palms Highway in Yucca Valley. The victim told deputies that her ex-boyfriend was forcefully pounding on the door of her home. Deputies identified the suspect as Christian Davis, 34. Deputies arrived at the home to find Davis still at the scene. Deputies say that they attempted to contact Davis, but that he refused repeated lawful commands and fled the scene. Deputies located Davis an hour later at a home in the 57,000 block of Yucca Trail in Yucca Valley, where he was taken into custody. Davis was found to be a felon convicted of violent crimes. Christian Davis was arrested on suspicion of attempted burglary and obstructing an executive officer and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $100,000 bail. On last Friday's episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show, host Gary Daigneault spoke with Captain Steve Scoville of the Sheriff's Morongo Basin Station. Daigneault asked Captain Scoville about the working relationship between the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and the personnel at the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center in 29 Palms.
What's the relationship like between the Sheriff's Department and the Marine Corps?
We have a great relationship with the base. They'll call us out if they have a crime on base that's related to a civilian, not a military member. We'll actually do the investigation on that. If it is a military member, they generally take over the investigation.
Now, they take over the investigation, but do they go to your jail, or do they have their own?
If it's a military member, no, it's all in-house.
So if it's a military member, they do that.
Yeah.
But if a civilian is involved in that crime, even if it's on the base, that's where
Yes.
you get involved.
Yes.
You can hear their full conversation by listening to the Z107.7 Up Close show as a podcast at our website, Z107.7fm.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. Outdoor recreation is an essential part of Southern California life, and the town of Yucca Valley has been investing in their community center with improvements to their court sports, such as pickleball and basketball. However, there is one feature at the community center that is still awaiting an upgrade. Online news editor Robert Hayden picks it up from here.
It was all the way back in May of 2024 when Southern California Skatepark design firm Spawn Ranch came out to a pair of meetings that revolved around the Yucca Valley Skatepark and the Community Center Master Plan. That plan included new pickleball courts, resurfaced basketball courts, shade structures, better parking, and more public space as part of a first and second phase of improvements. The third phase was supposed to be a redesign of the Yucca Valley Skate Park. The current park is functional but a bit aged, with well-worn concrete rails and ramps situated in a small area toward the back of the community center. Some initial upgraded skate park concepts included a new bowl in the middle of the park with street features around the outside of it. Local skaters showed up to those meetings 2 years ago to give feedback to skate park designer Aaron Spawn, pushing for a park with more beginner-friendly areas alongside more challenging and versatile features for experienced skaters. Those meetings wrapped with a skate park mock-up full of ideas scribbled on post-it notes by locals, along with what seemed to be a renewed interest in the long-promised skate park.
Yeah, and there hasn't been any progression past that, right? I mean, once we get the design side of it done, the next part of it is funding.
I talked with town manager Frank Lacchino about where the skate park is at today now that the pickleball courts are in and the community center master plan has moved through those first two phases.
Again, I wish we had a tree of money that we could pick off and time and energy to be able to do everything all at once. So I don't have today any crystal ball of a time frame. I think it definitely will always be part of the discussion as we have resource allocation and try to figure out, and even looking at funding opportunities, grants, i.e. grants that are out there. But from a skate park perspective, we'll always look out there, try to find those funding sources. So unfortunately at this point, there hasn't been any funding movement yet thus far. Took the first step, design. Now we got to find the money.
Quality of life is one of those intangible things that a town can provide, but it could also be difficult for those types of municipal improvements to demonstrate value in the budget. One of the easiest ways for the town council to see the potential value is for people to show up to meetings and show that there's a real community interest in an upgraded skate park. Community action is largely attributed to the turnaround at the Yucca Valley Animal Shelter last year.
Perfect example, most recently, right? We heard the public talking about our animal shelter and you needed to, have more investment in the animal shelter. And from a council policy perspective, they heard it and we implemented it, right? And so public discourse is an important piece of democracy.
If it's been a while since you've been down to the skate park and you're interested in keeping it top of mind with the town council, the next Yucca Valley Town Council meeting is Tuesday, July 21st, beginning at 5 p.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. You can find a longer conversation with town manager Frank Lucchino, along with our original reporting on the skate park redesign at this story on our website, Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
And finally, Basin Transit continues their annual Pack the Bus event as part of their effort to make sure that every student returning to school in the fall has access to school supplies. Now in its fourth year, Basin Transit's Pack the Bus has continued to expand and provide even more students with essential supplies to ensure that they can learn and participate in class. Held in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of the High Desert and Walmart, this event rallies community support to collect new school supplies. On Saturday, a Basin Transit bus will be stationed at Walmart collecting donations of essential classroom supplies. All donated items will be distributed by the Boys and Girls Club of the High Desert to local children and teens on July 28th. This year, the most needed donations include backpacks, notebooks and notebook paper, binders and folders, crayons, colored pencils and markers, pens and pencils, glue sticks and scissors, rulers and calculators, and pencil boxes and pouches. Members of Basin Transit's management team and volunteers from the Boys and Girls Club will be on site all day Saturday to welcome donors, collect supplies, and thank community members for their support. The Pack the Bus event is Saturday at the Walmart parking lot from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.